Listen, you're not gonna find anything on me, okay? Trust me.
Empty your pockets into the tray, sir, or we'll have to. Your pockets, sir?
Lady, the problem isn't in my pants.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. It's that time of the week where we get together, we talk about all things X-Men. Not a lot of news coming out, but we did get the Death of Dr. Strange trailer, which features a specific X-Men character, Magik, doing some things in there. We're going to talk and speculate what that means. I think we might have seen her blade in there as well. And we have two issues to talk about. Cable Reloaded from Al Ewing and Wolverine number 15 from Ben Percy with Cooper on art. And here to be to talk about that is the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado. Doc, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for inviting me back. It's always a wonderful time on this morning to talk X-Men, sir.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. Glad that you could make it. Now, we got the Death of Dr. Strange trailer. I sent you the link and all that stuff. There is a character heavily featured in there, Magik. Is she a red herring? Do you think Magik is going to be the one that kills Dr. Strange? Is she the next Sorcerer Supreme? What the hell is she doing? Why is she so heavily featured in this trailer?
Well, you know, for a number of years now, going back to the Jason Aaron run on Dr. Strange, and then during the Bendis era of X-Men, Dr. Strange and Magik were kind of constantly consulting one another. You know, she was kind of almost acting as a protege to him to an extent. And so I'm not really surprised that she's featured heavily here. She's probably been, over the past 10 years, the most common recurring guest star in his books because, you know, she's kind of she's at least the head of Limbo. And that's right in Doctor Strange's wheelhouse. But as for whether or not she kills him, I don't think so. I think that is a red herring.
We see the picture. He's being held down by some type of incantation. Someone is approaching him with a blade, and it's her sword, correct?
It is, but I think that she's there to save him.
You don't think there was a manhand, like someone got a hold of her blade or something?
No, because the only two people that can carry the soul sword are Magik and, oddly enough, Kitty Pryde.
I think Kitty did it.
Oh,
she's been a villain for a long time anyway.
Yeah, she actually has. So maybe Kitty's the one that did it. There we did that. Yep, we nailed it right there. But no, like I think that I don't think that anybody got a hold of the soul sword because nobody else can carry it. It's literally tied to Illyana's soul. And
come on, Doc. Mjolnir's being wielded by like what was it? The guy I think he had an auto mechanic shop on Earth. We've seen everyone pick up that damn hammer. It's not above Marvel Comics and anyone else to decide to change the protocols for wielding a sword.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Marvel has decided to undo every bit of specialness that has to do with any single character or weapon over the past 10 years. So why the hell not at this point? But you know what? I do think that it's going to be, I think it is a red herring that Magik is there. I think Magik is going to end up being the one that investigates most of the crime to figure out, like, you know, I don't know if she'll necessarily be the new Dr. Strange.
Do you think she'll bring on X Factor and get Leah Williams in as a co-writer?
No.
Huh?
I think that we will be saved from that punishment. We're already getting to have to watch Doctor Strange die right before his own movie comes out, so we don't need extra punishment by having Leah Williams involved in co-writing.
So you don't think she's replacing Strange as the next Sorcerer Supreme? I think, you know, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Captain Marvel, right?
You know what? At this point, why the hell not? They just give Carol new powers every month to try to make her more special and make somebody actually fucking like her. So yeah, they'll decide that, you know, Carol Danvers is going to be the new Sorcerer Supreme because why the hell not? And
Sorceress Supreme.
Yeah, Sorceress Supreme. And yeah, so why the hell not? But I think Illyana is going to end up being the one investigating most of the crime because, she does have a little bit of, her tracking, demonic beings and magics is right in her wheelhouse too. So I think she ends up being a lot. I think she will end up being the kind of the character, the audience perspective character of trying to solve this mystery. And I think that's why she's, presented so centrally in this trailer.
All right, so there we go. They're setting us up. She's going to be a major player. There's no way she kills him. She's likely not to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. Do you agree with me? I think that they're killing him now so they can reboot him back to a number one to coincide with the movie.
Maybe that I think that's asking way too much when it comes to coordination. Marvel has historically been fucking terrible when it comes to coordinating their movie releases with their superheroes. We just saw the trailer for Spider-Man that comes out in December and he gets replaced in October. They're not only going to do that for 2 months.
Well, they're also killing Dr. Strange as the second most prominent character within the trailer.
Exactly. So, you got their ability. You're giving them way, way, way too much credit in the ability to coordinate these things. So, no, I guess maybe that was their idea. They could do that, but at the same time, they won't get the timing right because they never do.
All right. Let's get back into some X-Men. We actually had two pretty interesting issues. One that I thought was pretty damn good, could have used a little bit of work, and the other one I thought was quite lackluster besides the art. Let's talk about the pretty damn good one. Let's get to Cable Reloaded. This is Al Ewing with Bob Quinn, who's been doing the art on Way of X. The art looks fantastic. The story itself by Al Ewing, which is pretty much a side quest heist going in with the last Annihilation as they acquire a weapon to be used by Brand on the Sword space station. It's pretty fun. It's bogged down by too much narration. Otherwise, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I did not mind this issue at all. Al Ewing is playing in his sandbox of the more cosmic side of Marvel. He's in the process. If there's anybody to write this, considering that he's writing Guardians of the Galaxy, which is where the central part of Last Annihilation is going on, it's him. So I have no problem with that. It is kind of a side quest, and it does get bogged down by too much narration, too much just random info.
There's a lot of meta narration as well.
It is
making jokes about pouches and stuff.
Yeah, like the constant pouch joke was. It was not as grating as I expected it to be, but it was still a little eye rolling. I'm not a huge fan of Cable having, constantly replaceable arms. That's something that fucking Jerry Duggan started doing.
I think the idea of a hologram that can physically interact with the world is odd. Like it can pick things up.
Yeah, well, the hard light holograms, but that's a staple of X-Men. Their Danger Room was hard light holograms from Shi'ar technology. So all that stuff was created by hard light. So it's well within the norm for X comics, going back decades, ever since like the original Danger Room got destroyed and Xavier replaced it with all Shi'ar technology. So I can get that. That's not really a big deal to me. I like I'm not sure if I like it. That like they kind of tried to make him a little too Tony Stark with, remember in what was it? I don't remember if it was Iron Man 2 or 3, whichever one where he changed the Jarvis AI. Oh no, it was in Age of Ultron, where since Jarvis became a new
Friday took over, whatever.
Yeah. And he pulled out cards with all these different like AIs stored on them, and then he picked the Friday one. I don't necessarily like Cable having multiple AIs. I didn't mind, like I was just getting used to him having Bell. And even that one's been around for a while, because I'm still thinking of, Cable having the Professor AI that assisted him. So him having the Bell AI, I was still kind of getting adjusted to. And then they add in, different arms have different AIs built into them. And I'm like, I don't think I like that very much.
All right, well, let's get into this adventure that's going on. I kind of like the idea of Cable and his team, or Cable kind of sneaking behind enemy lines, planting a Krakoan gate seed and bringing the team on over. It's an eccentric team. My only issue, I see that the Iraqi mutant certainly is very deadly, uses a knife and everything. But I just think booster mutants, like amplifier mutants, are just lame. It's like one of the dumbest, lamest powers out there. And you already have Fabian Cortez, who's associated with Sword anyway.
Yeah, that it's like all this character was not Fabian Cortez. Honestly, the dynamic would have been a little funnier and better if it was. I mean, honestly, I don't really give a shit about any of these Iraqi mutants. I don't. You cannot pay me to care about them. And booster mutants are boring. I mean, it's the reason why Fabian Cortez never really got popular in the 90s whenever they first introduced him.
He's completely useless on his own. Yeah.
They all are. They're completely useless on their own. But no, like the adventure itself was cool. I liked him bringing in the shield, the sword team. I liked him. I love
Cannonball. Who else we got? We got Boom Boom, Whiz Kid, that Iraqi mutant no one cares about, and Leela Cheney, which I thought was an odd addition to the team. And I guess we find out at the end why they need.
Yeah, Lila is. I mean, and plus the fact that there was, I did like the. I like the fact that Al Ewing managed to reference Lila and Sam's long ago relationship, because they were in a thing for a long time, and now Sam's and she was the older woman at the time. It was kind of, Sam was like 20, she was like pushing 30. So, like Sam now being the family man over on the Shi'ar homeworld, it was cool. I like that interplay that they did. It was an interesting team. Everybody did have a purpose. Boom Boom was there to basically push it up. Sam was there to blow up the head of this giant friggin' mech thing. That
I would call it what is it called in
it was like a
Pacific Rim. It was a guy as a Jaeger. It was a Jaeger.
Yeah. But this is
Transformer.
it was a city that turned, it was friggin' what was the planet that turned into a Unicron.
Yeah.
It was friggin' Unicron. And or the racetrack one that turned into a giant thing too. I don't remember what his name was. But regardless, it was this giant friggin' transformer thing, and they needed to use it for the last annihilation to go and basically, he was on a mission from Brand to use it so that the mutants could once again prove their usefulness to the rest of the galactic civilizations and kind of push Alpha Flight out of the way. Basically, that's what
essentially they turned him into an enormous gun using WizKid, who's the one that does it with the power boost on him. So we got this enormous weapon. Then Lila Cheney sends it back to the space station where Rocket Raccoon's waiting, and they've made an enormous bullet out of Mysterium.
Yep.
What do you think about Rocket Raccoon in Cable's admiration for the character?
You know what? Cable, they've done this with Cable a couple of times, and I was never really. They did it whenever he was, they showed that he had like a long future connection with Wolverine that they didn't know about. That was early in the days. Then, whenever Civil War happened, his reverence for Steve Rogers became like kind of very central around that time to his character. Now they're doing it with Rocket to, show that, well, Cable's from the future and he knows how important Rocket's going to be. So it's kind of a cheat code to make you think that a character is going to be more important than they currently are. So you should get behind them now. And I don't like that. It feels like a cheat. But at the same time, his reverence for Rocket Raccoon it's kind of interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see where it goes, but if it disappoints, it's going to very, very majorly disappoint because Cable doesn't have reverence for just any old friggin' 20th century, 21st century superhero. So
for me personally, I enjoyed this. I'll give it 4 stars. I thought the art was really, really good. The story itself is a lot of fun. It is a side quest. It's certainly not central and necessary to read to continue Last Annihilation. It's a little bogged down with some narration points and stuff like that. But for the most part, quite enjoyable. I'd highly recommend it.
I do too. I mean, I'd say 4 stars. The only thing I could think of that it should have had is it probably should have just been an issue of Sword.
Yeah, probably could have just kept it in Sword, but they needed a number 1. It's Marvel Comics. So next up, we've got issue 15 of Wolverine. This is Ben Percy and Kubert on this one returning. We continue the Sever Blackmore Iraqi pirate conversation about Solemn with Wolverine.
Yeah.
The art in this is splendid. It's very good. Like, it's fantastic, but the story is just a nothing burger. It's just the two of them talking about Solemn's origin. Like, there's got to be a more interesting way to introduce this information.
There really needs to be, because this was nothing but, I mean, it's another info dump issue, and we paid $4 to read 22 pages of somebody telling rehashing somebody else's story. This is the kind of shit that, you used to just kind of drop out in dribs and drabs, a page here, a page there, but this is 21st century Marvel, and any sort of, planning that goes longer than 3 issues ahead is out of the question, apparently.
Well, this is more than that planning. This is from Ten of Swords. This is almost a direct sequel to that 2-issue story that was illustrated by Bogdanovich and Kubert with Solemn and Wolverine going to hell. Yeah, it kind of picks up on a lot of that stuff, and I was like, well, this should be exciting. I love that story. I thought it was fantastic. It's like
it was like it just felt like a slog to read through, because there was a lot of stuff in there that about Solemn's origin that I didn't give a shit about. You haven't made me like the character enough to care about any of this stuff yet.
And like, wow, he got to Earth and he likes gambling. Who cares? Like, let's see what he's done.
Yeah, like I need to see.
Let's show him kill somebody.
Yeah, I need to see more of Solemn running around, being a giant thorn in the X-Men and Wolverine side, to give me a reason to give a shit about his origin. Like this is something that I don't think Marvel realizes, or they just don't care about. You have to make us actually, like, they've started this since the beginning of the Solemn thing, like where they've decided he's the new nemesis. We don't get a choice in the matter, apparently, as readers. They've decided that he's important, so we're just going to keep getting stuff about him without them actually making us care that he's an important villain. I just don't care.
Stealing logic diamonds, which we didn't even see the theft. We didn't even know that it was actually him. But that's all that we know that he's done. I was like, I don't care about logic diamonds. I don't care that they're part of the resurrection process. Steal something important. Go kill somebody important and make me, then I'll want to see Wolverine kill him. Otherwise,
Yeah, go kill like a human that Wolverine gives a shit about.
But not the CIA guy, because I still like that guy.
Yeah, I like that Jeff Bannister dude. We need him back. No, like go kill somebody that Wolverine gives a shit about. Go wreck something that Wolverine cares about that can't be put back together in three panels. You can't go kill another mutant because all they do is resurrect them. So that's not going to make me give a shit about them.
Severed Blackmore, he's not a compelling character. I guess the most interesting thing that happens in here is we see that he's got the Muramasa blade that we saw that he claimed in Hell. 2 blades, one with Saul and one with Wolverine. And apparently he's acquired it. He talks about how he did so. He's going to destroy it with some acid or whatever. And then Wolverine finds out that Saul, in fact, has stolen his sword. But that was like the last page.
Yeah, like, I mean, but again, this still hasn't made me care about him. Like, I'm not a big fan. I don't really care about the Muramasa blade to begin with. It was something that Daniel Way created in the mid 2000s. It wasn't that interesting to me. It's still not all that interesting to me.
Isn't that the putz that made Logan like an aristocrat when he was a younger one?
Yes. He's and he tried to tie him way too much into like him and Bucky having like a long history from when Bucky was the Winter Soldier, but apparently he didn't know he was Bucky, even though he also knew Captain America. It was bad. The Wolverine Origins series was not very good. The only redeeming part of that was the art. But regardless, like the Muramasa blade it's not that central to the character. They keep trying to make it central, but nobody really cares. Same with Solemn. Look, they're not giving us things that longtime Wolverine fans care about. They're not connecting to that stuff. And as a result, it just feels boring. It feels
falls flat. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars because the art's really good. The story is serviceable enough. I mean, it does something, I guess, but it's just not very exciting. I don't particularly recommend this issue.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably about 2 stars as well. It has the opportunity to get a retroactive increase if the next issue, because again, I expected this issue to be what the next issue might be, where he's actually having conflict. There was enough, history of origin and stuff told about Solemn last issue that I didn't need this issue too. And now we've had an issue and a half of nothing but just getting drowned in information about a character nobody cares about yet.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. We've got Magik. It's going to be a key figure in the Death of Dr. Strange. Looks interesting enough to me. Want to see what happens there. I thought Cable Reloaded was an excellent episode of Sword dying into Last Annihilation. Really enjoyed the side adventure. Not exactly a must read. The art was fantastic. It's not the smoothest read in the world, but the tale itself was fun. Wolverine 15, slog, boring, just uneventful. What are your final words?
Come on, guy. You're like halfway there to actually putting together a good comic here. Just finish the job.